Hey everybody, T Ham 141 here, and I'm here with Remy from Rem's Family Farm. How you doing, Remy?
Pretty good. How about you?
Oh, trying to trying to make it through maple season this year.
Yeah, I was hoping to start this weekend, but we're supposed to get like 35 inches of snow. So,
Trying to make it through 35 inches of snow. You said 35 inches?
yeah, I'm
That's a
guessing that's
lot.
what it is. They said about 80 centimeters.
Wow. That is insane. Um I asked my brother the other day and he couldn't really answer it. Did March come in like a lion or like a lamb?
I don't know. It's weird. Up until like 2 weeks ago, we kept saying to our friends like, we're lucky we're having a nice little mild winter, and then suddenly everything like Mother Nature went crazy. I woke up. Is it Sunday morning? Sunday morning, I woke up and I figured, it's nice. I don't have to work. It's okay. There's a storm, but I can relax and go shovel the stairs and I'll be all right. There was about 12, 13 inches of snow. I woke up Monday morning to go to work and there was like in the middle of a snowstorm again with about another 10 inches of snow. So I had to shovel all the stairs again. Came back from work and the wind, gust, everything was just crazy. The snow was done, but I had to shovel again. Wake up Tuesday morning and try to go feed the animals before I leave, and it was too much snow for even like I wasn't even able to see the rabbits. That's how
Wow.
much snow I had. It's crazy. I came back from work. I had to shovel for like 4 hours just to make it to the animals and make sure they were safe and was able to feed them.
We got I want to say I got maybe an inch and a half, 2 inches the other day. And then uh, a couple days before that, we got like 4 inches. I had to put the plow back on. But nothing serious like that. This weekend it's supposed to get cold again. Um, and hopefully I'll have some sap in the I don't know. My trees just aren't cooperating. But after 17 hours of work of boiling, I this is what I'm 15 gallons turned into, and it's kind of cloudy. I don't know why. I pretty
Well,
much
I've heard you were supposed to filter it, like to filter the water itself before you put it to boil, and then at some point you can filter it again, and then before you can it, you can filter it again. So you can do like filters 3 times basically.
right. I filter it before it goes in the big barrel, and then uh, I filtered it afterwards. A friend of mine who does it professionally, he's got a big evaporator. They did 70 gallons in like 5 hours, or they made 70 gallons of syrup in 5 hours. So
Wow.
that's what, 1,500 gallons, 1,300 gallons, something like that. That's a lot of sap.
Yes.
Um, but he gave me one of those old standing coffee pots like they used to use at the fire halls and rec centers and stuff. And they took the guts out of it, but it still has the heater in the bottom. So you put a filter sock in there and clip it on, and you pour the syrup after the syrup's made. You pour the syrup in there. Immediately, syrup runs through to the bottom, and it gets it up to about 180 degrees, which is nice and warm. And then you have a spigot that you can just run it off into the jars with. So it was, and it's a paper filter. But now he's got a filter press, I want to say,
Okay.
that actually forces the sap through. Well, I'm not sure if it's the sap or the syrup that it forces through the thing. But I woke up at 8 o'clock yesterday morning, and I'm like, okay, I got to go ahead and boil this sap. I've had it way longer than the 7 days, even though it's been frozen. And I'm like, I'll do this real quick. Take 4 or 5 hours. I've only got like 15 gallons, and I started off. Well, I ended up not going to youth group because I didn't want to leave it, and I stayed up till 11 a.m. or 11 a.m. till 11 p.m. that night. So that was what, 15 hours right there. And then this morning I got up early and started it boiling again and finished it up. I got it down to where it fit in a nice little 2 or 3 quart pot, and brought it inside and finished it up there so I could use the hydrometer and all that stuff. But man, oh man, I just need to get a bigger pan, and some better equipment, because I'm just using a regular roasting pan to boil it in. And the more surface area you have, the faster it'll evaporate.
Yeah. I'll probably have a couple of videos on that coming in the next few weeks at least, because like I said a couple of times already, my brother-in-law ended up with his father's shack, maple shack, and he has a full equipment there, and usually does enough to support the whole family. So I don't know how many gallons you can get in a year, but I know it's a lot. And he's out in West in Alberta, so he has one of his friend living at his house taking care of all the maple syrup stuff. And I mean, he takes care of everything. And I don't know if they have some sort of a deal where, take my stuff, do what you have, but I want some maple syrup when I get back home or whatever. I don't know what the deal is, but he told me, usually when we do something like that, you come help, we'll split 50-50. So I'm guessing that's probably going to count towards Shed Wars as well. But I'm going to go help him as much as I can. And there's not much more I can do anyway, really.
Right. Well, yeah. And this is sweetener for coffee. It's for cooking. There's so much stuff. And the sap, I was looking it up, and people use the sap instead of water in certain recipes and stuff. It does add a little different flavor to it, but the sap is really good for you. But yeah, a quart and a half in 17 hours. That's basically, from what I understand. Now, this probably is not worth $10 a quart. The stuff he does, the stuff my friend does, is, I mean, that's clear. You'd be able to see my hand behind here. That's worth $10 a quart. That's $50 a gallon, man, or well, $40 a gallon. It's ridiculous, the price. But now I'm starting to understand why. It's it's not easy. I've got you muted.
I put myself on mute whenever the dog goes up and down the stairs, because he runs right there and it makes a lot of noise.
Yeah.
Hi, Lynn, and hi, Marilyn. I haven't said hi already.
Lynn Bucket List Homestead. Hey, how's it going? You're not late. We just started early. But yeah, this I don't know, man. I want to get into it. I want to make it easier.
Yeah, but it's all a learning curve. You start there, then you'll go bigger and quicker, and then eventually you'll be at the pro level. It's like everything else. The more you do it, the better you'll be. And is it your first year?
Yes, this is the first time I've ever boiled sap.
And have you tried it? Did you try it?
What, the
maple syrup?
The maple syrup? I haven't tried it yet.
Okay.
I tasted a lot of it because I was using the paper filter, and instead of, I don't know why I did this, but I put it under the canning funnel, And so when you poured the sap in, it didn't allow air to escape, so it kind of vacuumed itself. And I ended up making a mess. But then you could take your fingers and wipe it across the counter, and it was
It's good.
delicious.
So you didn't fail. If you if you
Right,
if you know if you think you're gonna eat it, it's not a failure. Especially if you're gonna eat it. I mean,
right.
worst comes to worst, you get a learning experience, and if you get to eat it, it's even better.
Yeah, the hydrometer um was at 57 or something like that, and it should be at 59, but the temperature made it there. They said to have um they said you needed 219 degrees, um is it, and then it will be syrup. My thing is I am slightly higher in elevation than they are, I believe.
Okay.
Um, so it because they're down in the Black River Valley. So I'm wondering if that might, because if you don't have the right amount evaporated, then you can get like mildew or whatever, or not mildew, but uh, mold or whatever growing on it. Um, because that stuff loves sugar.
Yeah, they're just like us.
um, but yeah, I mean, if I could make 2 or 3 gallons, enough to give out. I did a pint. I'm gonna probably give this first pint to my pastor, or as first fruits. But
Make sure it's good before you do so.
no, I'll test it on him. If he doesn't, I'll give it to him Sunday, and if he doesn't show up for Wednesday service, then I know.
And if something happened, it's gonna forgive you, so you're safe.
Yeah, right. Yeah, he is a very forgiving guy. Um, but yeah, if I can get 2 or 3 gallons, and that'll give me enough to give some give some out and as gifts and stuff, and to have some. Um, I don't eat a lot of waffles or pancakes. I should. Um,
Well,
but
my one of the things I like to do with my well, I started doing it, and then my son, when he was a little bit younger, saw me doing it, and for a while it was just like our little father son moment. Just take plain bread, put butter on it, or whatever, dip it in maple syrup, and just eat straight like that.
oh,
It's our
wow.
little treat before we go to bed. I mean, he loves it so much. He'll come to me and, Dad, can we have some more bread with maple syrup tonight? And I just remember getting out of the bath or getting out of a shower with my pajama and being shirtless, sitting next to him in the kitchen, and my girlfriend would come and, okay, you guys are having a father son moment. I'm gonna let you alone, and small things, but
Yeah.
fun stuff.
Um, I remember when I lived in Florida I went to Florida and stayed with my dad for the summer when I was 13, and we would have biscuits and cane syrup uh, all every morning. It was awesome. Um, but it's just something that uh, I think I could get used to having it around, and it's a nice barter trade item if you need to do that, if things go bad, which they might be. I heard diesel top $5 a gallon. Um, Poor truckers. Pray for our truckers. Um, but so yeah, I've been watching Alaska, or not Alaska last. I've been watching Life Below Zero again, trying to get all amped up for when my 3 foot of snow goes away that I got on the ground. I finally went through my seeds, but when I went through the seeds, it was a very boring video, so I didn't put that one up. But I've got one where I planted the seeds. I think that's coming out tomorrow. And because I planted tomatoes and some banana peppers and onions echinacea, yarrow. I think that's it that I have right now. But I've got I did some brandywine tomatoes and some red black prince tomatoes.
I've heard about those.
Yeah, they're heirloom. I was able to keep a bunch of the seeds. They're 2 years old because I mean I got bean seeds, but beans I've always done good just planting right in the ground. Uh, let's see, I was doing bread and maple syrup too. There's always too much syrup for the bread, and after too much bread for the absolutely, absolutely. You always grab another piece of bread to clean up that last little bit, and then you're still left with a piece of bread and no syrup. But so the weather is starting to act, from what I understand, positive for syrup production. I guess this weekend it's supposed to get cold, but you want below freezing at night and then 40s and stuff during the day. But now you've got that big storm coming.
Yeah, it's crazy.
$2.19 a liter, $8 to $9 a gallon. Wow,
Oh,
that
yeah.
that
And I don't think that's just diesel. The regular gas is like 182 at the moment, I think.
yeah.
It's supposed to go up. So 182 is about $8 a gallon.
Yeah, we're well over $4 a gallon. It is I don't know. It's one of those things where I know enough to know it doesn't have to be this way. Um, we tried to jump into um, the green energy thing and just leave coal and oil behind, and you can't do it that fast. It just doesn't work.
Oh,
Um, but hopefully we will do better in the future. Um, let's see. My mom, shout out to my mom, because she watches these sometimes. She's starting to do well, better, a lot better. She's got people coming in. Jeannie, who is her home health aide, uh, is now able to come in for most of the hours. And then my niece Tony is just, they're both just enjoying it to know. And Tony comes in and stays with her for a little while during the day just to check on her, make sure. It just takes a whole lot off me. I don't have to constantly be worried. Oh, has somebody talked to mom in the last 4 days because I forgot to call. Um,
yeah, I was going to say the same. Hi, yeah, Tracy's mom. Hello. From New
um,
Brunswick, Canada.
from New Brunswick. Yes, mom. He's trying to talk me into moving to Canada, mom. You're gonna get letters on that one. Uh 97.80 to fill a F-250 diesel. Wow. Wow.
It cost it cost me $82 to fill my Jeep Compass. Never gone that high. I mean, the most I've got so far was about $50, and that when it was really, really almost running on fumes. 82 is just crazy.
Yeah. I think I need to expand my battery pack, my battery bank a little bit. rely less on the generators, which I don't rely a whole lot on them.
Hi,
Hey,
Melissa.
little house and traveling tortoise. Hi.
Yeah, Jacob, right?
Yep, Jacob. Yep.
Jacob and Melissa's little house in the big woods.
Yep. Um, Welcome. We were just talking about, well, a little bit of everything, from my maple syrup cash. I got a quart and a half out of 17 hours of work. It was only 15 gallons, man, and a turkey fryer. It didn't use as much propane. I figured I would have gone through a couple 20-pound tanks, but it didn't. Um, but yeah, 17 hours of boiling, and we're, which it really makes you appreciate the people who
Cost of the
actually
store.
make it. Yeah. Because right now at Runnings, Lewis County maple syrup was $50 a gallon, or I know it was 25 something for a half gallon.
It seems a lot when you go to the store to buy it, and you think like, am I really gonna pay $25 for that bottle? But then again, like you just said, it's so it costs so much to make, so much time, so much equipment, so much stuff, so much people, so much everything. It's just you realize that it actually makes sense.
Yeah. I'll move him until he gets back in here. um, yeah, it there's a lot of hard work to it. I've got an area designated for the sugar bush, um, between my driveway, the pond in my driveway, and my driveway, and um, an old logging road that I it's between, they're all between me and the road. So I don't want to ever log that because I want it to be nice and thick so that in the summer it kind of blocks looky loos, which isn't really a bad thing, but I built way back in the woods for privacy, and I do. um I People think I'm joking. I really have done chores in my underoos. Um, uh, if you want to come back, I will put you up. He left. Oh, well. um, but yeah, and there she is. I'll add her right on. That way, when she comes on, she can. But yeah, uh, so I'm not going to log off these areas. So it's not going to hurt to tap the maple trees, which the maple trees, it only between an inch and a half and 2.5 inches is all you drill in. So
Hmm.
that is one solid piece of uh, slab wood that you're wasting, and that's not very much. But I went through today, and I found, I think, 36. I can run 36 more taps next year, but I'm going to wait till next year to put more taps on because just the price. Yeah, the privacy is a big deal for me, um, because Wendy and I, we 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 had a, which way does this have to go here? There. Anyway, we when we lived in Port Leyden, we had a guy live behind us, and then we had a guy live across the road from us, and it was just nicest people you'll ever meet. Our neighbors that were across the street, and but it was like killing me with kindness. And then the guy behind us, he would take baths in his front yard, in a bathtub in his front yard. and you could see them from the road and everything. So when we bought this was the seclusion was part of it. In a what did they call it? There is another term somebody liked to use the other night instead of SHTF. But in a crap hits the fan scenario, I want to be fairly secluded. Uh, so that I can choose who knows I'm here. And I the wonderful thing is I'm secluded from. I'm gonna bucket list Homestead. I'm just gonna take you off until you come back on, or until you get in front of your camera or whatever. That way, but feel free to come on. But our what do you call it? Our road is a seasonal road, so it does not get a whole lot of it gets local traffic. And I'm known as that guy with what do they call it? The off grid guy. Because they saw my house here, and there's some people down the road putting in a house, and I was talking to the guy one day, and he's like, yeah, he said, we figured electric would already been run. He says, but because we knew your house was there, and he says, then we found out there's no electric. So I said, no, I'm totally off the grid. He says, yeah. He says people call you the off grid guy. I have seclusion with roof, but views. Oh, nice.
Cool.
It's there's just something to be said for. I mean, there are chores that you don't want to do in your Fruit of the Looms, but it's nice to be able to have that freedom to go out. And if somebody complains, they were trespassing. And I would worry about them because every once in a while I'll go out and I'll be working in the garden and singing at the top of my lungs or what. I'd be worried about them getting disturbed by that. But yeah, I ordered new water filters today. I'm down to 2 regular and 1 carbon water filter. I was thinking about going pure Berkey, but I priced it out and it's just not worth it. Not for my income. But I do have a homemade Berkey water filter. I took 2 5-gallon buckets and then we got 2 of the Berkey black filters, and I stacked them on top of each other and hooked the lid of the bottom bucket onto the bottom of the top bucket, and then wedged that lid in between. There's a screw on the bottom of the Berkey filters, and wedged it in there. So you fill up the top, and then it runs down into the bottom, and it worked good. I need to get new filters for that just in case. Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those things where, like today, it hit 40 degrees, and it was just so nice. I got outside, I checked the syrup or the sap taps and my lines and stuff, and I just didn't want to come in. And that's unusual for me in the winter when there's snow on the
I don't want to go out usually. Well,
yeah.
Melissa, you can always come shovel my my driveway this weekend, and I'll go build your
Yeah.
your thing.
Yeah. I'll go build the shower house with the nice alpine view.
It can always get worse, but I hate snow. I'm just fed up. I see a bunch of people planting seeds, getting their stuff ready. I see some people planting stuff right outside. I mean, Michael Sharp is in Florida right now, playing in his garden, while I'm here shoveling snow, and I don't even know where to put it anymore. That's not
Yeah,
fair. But then again, we don't have alligators, we don't have spiders, we don't have snakes, we don't have any. Well, we have some, but nothing dangerous.
right. Yeah. You can count the number of things that want to actually have the potential to kill you in upstate New York or farther north on two hands. In Florida, you're going to have to take off your shoes at the very least, um, because there are some nasties out there. Um, and I remember the chopping into my dad. We had a lawn care service, my real father and I, when I was living down there, and he would tell me to go out in the woods and get him a palmetto heart, and it was pretty cool because you take a palmetto bush and you just chop it into like a square, and then you get all the green off it, and there's a big white chunk of plant flesh that is delicious. And we would sit there and eat the palmetto heart. I'm gonna add her to the screen. Um,
I don't
she'll be
understand though. We usually see a logo. We don't usually see some like a lock in a box. I don't know if there's anything wrong.
kick from studio, ban from studio, edit mic settings, edit name. I don't think it's anything we've done.
If you're in the chat, Lynn, let us know if you can see anything or you know
Yeah,
if you're having issues or
yeah, because if it's on our end, you might. Let's see. I got a private chat here. Okay, she can see it. It says I am here, but I have to wait for the host to add me. Okay, I've added you. Um, what does this say here?
but we don't. We just see like a lock in the box.
It says everyone can see and hear me. Yes, I see the lock too. Um, is your camera? Are you using just like a?
She was
Uh,
on my live stream the other night and it worked fine.
yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, it is.
I can research. I'll keep talking and I'll I'll find a solution. Google
Thank you, Remy.
pants.
Um, but I had an experience last night while I was. It had to be around 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. I had already closed the chickens in, but I went out to check the sap because I was boiling the sap until 11 at night, and one of the cats went out with me, and she said, or yeah, she said, one of the cats went out with me, and I got done doing what I was doing, and I started walking from the woodshed to the house, and I see I had my headlamp on, and uh, I see eyes under the tool shed, and I'm like, okay, handsome, because the cat was out. I said, okay, handsome, time to come in. Come on. And it just looked at me. And I'm like, no, I'm serious. Come on. I'm not going to, keep getting up to open the door for you. And it just looked at me. And all of a sudden I heard a meow behind me. I turned around and Handsome was already on the porch. I still don't know what it was. I think it was either a feral cat, somebody's house cat, a raccoon. I have had weasel tracks here recently. It looked like cat tracks, what I could see, but it just freaked me out because I was out there with no gun or anything to take care of a predator or scare away. Sorry, a predator. We don't shoot things out of season to protect our livestock. That wouldn't be right. um, while he's working on that, I'm gonna go ahead and remove. Um,
It
hope
doesn't say anything.
I'm.
Do you see her before you add her up?
No. Yeah, actually, I did.
Oh,
There
there
she
she
is.
is. We
There
see you, but we don't hear you. We can't hear you, Lynn, but we see you. So it's probably something on your side.
Yeah, you're not muted here.
No. So it might be a setting with your microphone or.
And then he said, "I don't know." Let's see. Make sure that you're not muted up here. Remove solo. No. No.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Yes.
we got you now. There you go. Welcome.
It was me. I cleaned my laptop earlier and I pushed the buttons on the laptop that turn off the microphone and the camera, and I had no idea.
Oh, makes sense.
Yeah. It's amazing what just a swipe across the keyboard can do.
It happens.
Very bright. Okay. Let me
But
see.
welcome. How's your week going?
Is that better?
Yep, that's very better. Very much better. So how's your week going, Lynn?
Is that everybody's frozen?
Uh-oh. I didn't do it.
No, we're still fine here. It's just on your end, Lynn. Because I have the stream right there and it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we okay now?
Yeah.
Okay. I think my son, is gaming and it slows down our internet when he's on at the same time I am. So I've asked him to go off for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yay. All right. It's working. Well, hello.
Hi. How's it going? How's your week been?
Really good. I was told I was cancer free on Tuesday. So
praise
Good.
God.
Right on.
Praise
Happy for
God.
you.
yep. Don't have to go back for another year. So
Good.
Nice. I'll go ahead and I'll try. You're cancer free, but if I can remember or find a pen, I'll talk to you later. I'll get hold of you later, and I've got a How I Beat Cancer journal, and that I made for my wife, and I'll send you a copy of it if you're interested in.
thank you. Yes, I would. This was the one I'm getting tested for yearly is the second round with the devil. I actually have had it 4 times.
Wow.
3 different cancers, but
Wow.
I'm still here. I'm too stubborn.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, my wife passed away from adenocarcinoma on December 23rd, and it had just eaten up her liver, and we tried a treatment, a chemo that was supposed to work, and it didn't work. It had just let it eat up her liver. But so when I hear victory over cancer, because I hate that. I mean,
I can't stand it. My uncle right now, my mother was just visiting with him. He's fighting lung cancer, and this is his 4th battle. I think it's his 3rd cancer, 4th battle. They're only giving him 2 years, but you know what? Doctors say that all the time. They said it to my grandfather, and they told everyone, "Hurry up, come home, say goodbye." I was actually in labor with our son when this was going on, and he lived another 4 years.
Yeah.
So I think they forget about our will to live sometimes.
Yeah. I think if they would have caught it earlier with Wendy, it would have been different. But we go through the VA, which is socialized medicine, and
yeah, my father does too.
We changed doctors, and Wendy told the doctor the same thing she had been telling the other doctor for a couple of years, that she had, it was just firm right there by her liver. And the doctor that day took us down the hall to get pictures taken and all imagery and stuff like that, and then a biopsy done and everything, and that gave us 18 more months together. So I'm very appreciative of that.
I'm a huge, like I talk about, especially women, if something doesn't feel right, you're not crazy. No one knows your body better than you, men or women. And I was sick for 18 months the first time. They sent me to, I don't know how many specialists. I had one doctor told me I was crazy. It was all in my head. I thought my husband was going to go over the table and punch him.
Yeah.
And I got diagnosed 2 months after I saw him. I had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and my family doctor sent him a letter with my diagnosis and telling him she thought it was time he retired.
Yeah.
She was so angry. At one point, we even had specialists say, well, get rid of your dog. You're allergic to your dog. And I'm like, we've had our dog like 5 years at that point, or 3 years. I've had animals my whole life, never had this kind of problem. It was an emergency room doctor. I finally couldn't breathe. I literally could not catch my breath. My lung was filled with fluid. And I went into the emergency room. I actually had my lung drained the first time 5 times in 6 weeks while I was waiting for treatment. That's not a fun time, let me tell you.
No, I can imagine.
And the ER doctor came in, and I could tell by a look on his face, and he's like, your husband's not with you anymore? I said, well, the kids, we've been here 8 hours. Like we have 2 small children. He had to go home and take them home and feed them and everything. And he says, well, and I could tell by his face, he says, I think you need to follow up with an oncologist. And I'm like, an oncologist? That's a cancer doctor. Yeah. And I got the biopsy. So yeah, I had stage 3 by the time I started treatment.
Yeah. Wendy, we went to an oncologist, and COVID had just kicked in. This was March of 2020. And I was not allowed to go in with her. I sat out in the car. We didn't think to call each, to get on the phone.
FaceTime. Yeah.
But so she was all alone when she found out she had stage 4 colon cancer, basically.
And no one should be alone getting that kind of news. I think about that when I had my appointment Tuesday. Our cancer wing, like I had to check in there, and it was so quiet, and there's no volunteers there, and no one's allowed to have anyone there with you while you're going through treatment. And I'll tell you, the volunteers were amazing. Even though I always had someone, either my mother or my husband was with me, the volunteers were so amazing. To think they can't even have a volunteer there to hold their hand and to keep them occupied. Because like my second time, some of my therapies were 6 hours, 7 hours long.
Yeah.
That's a long time to be there. And it was so quiet in there. And I thought, so they've set up where you used to walk into the hospital. It's the entrance. They've set up the entrance with a couple of rooms for us to have our checkups, our 6-month yearly checkups. That's where we go to keep us isolated. And when I was checking in, there was an older couple, probably I'd say 80, 85. And she was there. And I felt the girl behind the glass was a little rude. I will say that. And because they couldn't hear her very well. So, between the mask, the plastic, and they're older, they couldn't hear her. And she finally said, only the patient's allowed to go. And the poor woman, she got tears in her eyes. She says, I have to go alone. And she says, yes. Like, I don't know what she was there for. And her husband, God love him, he said, well, where do I wait? And the girl just pointed to the parking lot. Like there. And he says, I have to wait there for the whole day until I see her come out. Because they didn't have cell phones. Because she's like, well, she'll call you on the cell phone when she's done. And they're like, no, you can't. We don't have those. Yeah. And he leaned over. He kissed her forehead and said, it will be okay. And he had to walk away. And I literally had to walk away because I was going to cry.
Yeah.
And COVID's terrible. But there's so many other things that are still making us sick and killing us. And I can only imagine, like they said, when they find out just how many people are probably going to die from cancer because they didn't get checked quick enough because of the last 2 years, it's going to be staggering.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's
It's going to
heartbreaking.
get worse.
Yeah, like it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's been on my mind today, and it's bugging me a little bit, they're talking about people complaining about how high gas is. And at least we're not in, you know, a basement listening to bombs. And believe me, I pray every night for Ukraine. God knows, every night I pray for Ukraine. And I can't even watch the news because when I see the mothers, I can't do it. It makes me emotional. But that does not negate the fact that there is a single mom or single dad here in Canada and the United States who had $100 this week for groceries to feed their kids. And now they've only got maybe 25 because they had to take 75 and put that in their gas, you know, into their car to get to work. And they're having to, maybe they're not going to eat tonight so their kids can. And I don't want us to do like we should be comparing our difficulties with one another.
Yeah.
And it's
yeah.
it's really bothering me. A lot of my friends are sharing this on social media about how we got to stop complaining about the price of gas because at least we're not. And I'm like, that's not fair. That is not fair.
At least, I don't know. I really like I don't know if he's president or prime minister of Ukraine. The man has got cojones and he loves his country. And I really, I feel for the people of Ukraine, but there's something Ukraine's got going for it that I don't believe. I know I can't overgeneralize, but you watch the refugee pouring out of there. Most of them are women and children and old people.
Yep.
The men and a lot of the women of fighting age are staying to fight.
Yep.
I don't know how many of our youth would
My husband said the same thing.
It's one of those things that you know, I'm glad. I am so, we are blessed to not be in our cellar for bombs.
Yes.
We are blessed not to have a bomb shelter next to every classroom like Israel does. But by the same token, we fought to get it this way, and we're probably going to end up having to fight in one way or another to get it back to where we're like that. But there's 3 generations, I think it goes. And Remy, this you might have been on the live that was talking about this. I'm not sure if it's mandatory for them to stay or not.
Any man under 60 has to stay. Women can voluntarily stay, but anyone under the age of 60 has to stay.
I think it goes up to 12 years old or 14. I don't remember. If you're old enough to hold a gun, I mean, you got to go fight. It's almost like it was.
That's scary. I have a 14-year-old son, and I can't imagine putting,
and you
sending him.
You just see those videos of. I mean, even if you're 25 years old, if you have a 4-year-old daughter sitting there waiting for you to come back, and you have to kiss her goodbye and kiss your wife goodbye. I mean, I totally
it's not something you're used to, right? When you're not in the service and you're thrust into it, it's not your
I totally get. I totally get what you're saying there. It doesn't change the fact that we have to pay. Like the price of gas is insane.
Yeah.
I tend to agree with you. I tend to agree with your friends a little bit that we can at least say, we're healthy.
Yes.
I get to see my children every day. They're safe. Yep. We might struggle financially. Of course we will. The cost of everything is going up. And I work in a hospital, and in New Brunswick, like in everywhere else in Canada, healthcare is free, but what pays for our healthcare is the taxes that we pay for our healthcare.
It's not free.
It's not really free. But I was thinking, government is charging us more for gas because we have taxes on gas.
Mhm.
So we pay taxes on gas, and then they have to pay gas to put in their tractors to open the driveways of the parking lot of the hospital.
Yep.
And they hire people to do that, and they end up government has to pay for gas to put in their tractors and stuff. So you know what that's gonna make? That's gonna make our taxes go even higher because they have to pay more to pay
School
more
buses.
taxes. It's
School-
a vicious circle. So we end
School-
up paying more taxes because the government ends up putting taxes on gas, which they end up having to pay. So we're gonna have to pay more.
Yep.
And they're even talking about how all the municipalities are gonna have like town halls and all those different branches are gonna have to put the taxes even higher because they'll have to, compensate with cost of gas going up. So we're gonna end up having to pay even more.
Yep.
So
I know.
it comes to the point where it's even more important than ever to do the things that we're doing: homesteading, farming, gardening, all that stuff. It's
Yep.
more important than ever, really, because I'm glad that for the first time in my life, my freezer is still full.
Me too. Me too. I actually kind of said a little prayer in front of my freezer. I'm like, I'm so grateful, God, that something told me I better.
Yeah, because I remember not too long ago having to go with my parents to grab some stuff in their freezer.
Yep. No, it's not a fun feeling. I mean, my husband grew up very poor, and many times went to bed with his stomach growling and hurting him. And he always vowed when he had his children, no matter what, you may not be able to give them everything, that they might want, but they sure as heck are going to make sure they have food to eat. Yeah. But I just did my video because I just did all my seeds last weekend. So I videotaped my seeds starting because I needed something to give me joy, right? I'm just like, the world, it's just so heavy right now. And that gave me joy. So I started a day early, but I think a day early is okay.
Yeah.
And I just, for the first time gardening, and I've been gardening a long time, maybe not on this scale. This scale has only been the last few years, but I hate to use the word pressure, but I almost feel pressure this year to have a really good season.
Yeah.
Just because everything that's going on, it's like I've never felt that before. I've never felt that pressure. If something didn't make it, you'd be like, oh man, and you'd be upset. Now it's like, no, if something doesn't make it, that's like something I'm going to have to buy somewhere else now, right? So
the problem is we've got, I don't know, we were headed this direction before Russia started massing on the Ukraine border.
Yeah.
Just because policies, I don't know what we're doing, but the United States was energy independent for the first time in 50 years. And within, I'm going to say 72 hours, we lost that. It was gone. And that the world is feeling that. And we need to pray for people. It's funny because I watched that Life Below Zero. I love that show. I've been binge watching it for the last couple weeks. And my favorite is the family, Chip and Agnes, and they are from Nuvik. And they have a big family. They have daughters and sons and stuff like that, but they are subsistence livers. They are living what Wendy and I envisioned when we moved here. But it's funny because he says, we are totally self-sufficient. And I'm thinking, no, you're not. You got gas for your snow machine. You have a snow machine. You can trade for certain things, but you're not trading. They did trade some fish for gas, but then he's got all these kids, which is a great blessing, but that he's having to clothe, and they're not all wearing furs, and we need to get right here, just like she just said, people have become disconnected from the basics. And it is crazy, but
I hate it when people call me old fashioned, and I'm like, no, it's just we've all forgotten how to do these things. Like, right, like we're not teaching the next generation. We're not like Remy. I love how your kids go out with you looking for the rabbit when you go out doing the traps and stuff. Like that is amazing. You know, I mean, whether they do it when they're older or not, but at least you know you put that in their brain, right?
There's my son.
I see that.
I love you too, son. Lucas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, there's everything happens in a cycle. There's the people who work hard and they build a reality that they're hard workers, they're tough, and then their children grow up, and I hope I'm saying this right. Their children grow up and they're growing up in the reality that they're I don't know if reality in the lifestyle that their parents worked and grandparents worked so hard for to get, and they become weak living in this lifestyle. Weak might not be a good word.
No, I know what you mean though. Yeah.
But then and then they raise a generation that rises up and works hard to take it back.
That's awesome.
And I think you know, this generation that of people that are flooding to the homesteading, self-sufficient lifestyle, I think that's a testimony to say where we've been.
Yeah.
It
just makes it hard for the rest of us who've been doing it before the pandemic, and we go to get stuff and it's like, you know, but part of me's happy. I'm glad people are planting more gardens because, you know, we need more gardens. But at the same time, I'm like, darn it, this isn't a fad for me. You know,
I'm going to start a quest right here, right now. There's one thing that I have not figured out, and I haven't looked on YouTube. That's where I should look first all the time. But I want to know how to make homemade toilet paper. I know how to make paper. I mean, you can look up how to make paper. It's pretty cool.
I'm not going that far.
But because our moss is under 3 feet of snow right now, man.
Oh, you can just sit in the snow. Just sit in the snow.
Just sit in the snow.
That she sells the toilet paper. It's even on a roll, and it's fabric and stuff that you wash, you know, when you're done or whatever. But I don't know if though when people were panicking about toilet paper back at the beginning of all this, they probably would have taken anything. That's one thing I had to laugh about, right? Because I don't hoard, but every time we go out, I buy one. You know, every time we go out, and that's what I try to tell people on my channel. Like, because who has $3,000 to go out today and buy enough groceries and stuff for your pantry to have a 3 to 4 month supply? No. You know, most people I know we can't.
No, it's just not realistic.
I could do it for a whole lot cheaper. I'll go buy a gun, some bullets, and I'll go get them moved. And
I know my husband misses that. In New Brunswick, it was so much easier to go hunting. Here in Ontario, and the rules around it are crazy, and it boggles my mind. Someone who's a military person who had to have weapons training every year and pass it, and he always got, you know, perfect, by the way. Mm-hmm. He can't he still has to go through all the you know, craziness to get a license to get it's insane. I don't understand why they don't exempt like policemen and military and stuff.
Yeah, they've already had the training.
Yeah, like, you know, and it's not cheap.
You know?
I think it's about $80 here.
Yeah, I have a friend that's a corrections officer, and they can actually put firearms on their badges, but then I think they can get a badge when they're retired that they can transfer it to, or they have to get a permit. On the washable toilet paper, Little House in the Big Woods, that's back in the 1800s, they used everyone would have their own cloth. And and it would hang behind the outhouse or on the side of the outhouse, and you would go grab your cloth when you went in, and then you would wash it when you were done. Not the best way, in my opinion, but a bidet, they do have those, and I was thinking about getting one that you can hook up right to your toity. It swings under it's under the seat, so it's not in the way, and then you just reach back and turn on a knob. But then you need electricity for the blow dryer and
And you were talking about having the kids to participate and all that stuff. And I told, usually they want to help around the house a little bit with the garden and stuff, but I don't find they do as much as I would like them to do.
Yeah, me too.
But then again, this year, I don't know if it's because I told them it was a competition or whatever, but when I told them about Shed Wars that we needed to, I wanted the kids to help me win this thing.
Yeah.
They're all like, okay, we're going to help. We're going to do our part. We're going to go. Just give us a square in the garden somewhere. We're going to take care of it. And when I told my daughter, I said, you know what? Like, if we're ever home and have nothing to do, we'll just go fishing every time. Yeah. She looked at me, her eyes popped out, and she's like, really? We're going to go fishing? Like, at least like once a week? I'm like, yeah, probably. Because we can eat trout every week. It doesn't matter. We'll go fish. Eat it, even if it's just for breakfast. We'll go eat it, and we're allowed to go fish some more.
My son used to love to go fishing, and then the favorite fishing hole we loved going to, it was near the base here. It's 3 base commanders ago. He changed it because it was a little too close to the yacht club that's on base, and too many of the people were complaining that people were there fishing. It was like literally we'd be there maybe an hour, fishing a little bit, and then whenever we could fit in. But anyway, they had to fit, so they made it so we can't fish there anymore. And we were hoping when the new base commander came in, he would change the rule, but he's kept it.
Yeah.
So some officer probably complained. They're probably related to your neighbors, Remy, complaining about your chickens.
Gene, welcome, Gene. Sears put the kibosh on the Sears catalog. Then JCPenney had it for a little while.
My husband grew up without indoor plumbing until he was 8 or 9. He actually it's funny because he grew up more like my mother, and they're exactly 20 years apart. My mother's 20 years older than him. Yet they grew up more similar than him and I did. Like it's, he didn't have indoor plumbing till he was 8 or 9. And, getting a deer for the year meant you had meat to feed everybody. Right.
Yeah.
So, it was more than just, getting the deer and hanging the head on the wall because, you shot it or whatever. It meant, okay, all 4 kids are going to eat this year.
Yeah. The people laugh at me because the biggest deer I've ever killed, or biggest rack I've ever gotten was a 6-point. Okay. That's not saying a whole lot. However, we grew up, you eat meat, you don't eat antlers.
Exactly.
Antlers, if you saw a big buck, that great for you, but but we were putting meat in the freezer. And
you can get money for those antlers now too, because the pet stores sell them as organic, natural chewies for dogs, and they're not cheap.
Oh, really?
I'm not kidding. And they last forever, right? And they don't splinter like bones and stuff. So we had one here for the dog. I got tired of that after I don't know how long he had it. I said, I think it's time for this thing to go. But yeah, they're pretty expensive, the bigger ones. So you can even make money off the antlers now.
Yeah.
My younger brother, I think it was in 2008 or 2009. I was still in college, so it could have been 2008. He went with my father, my other brother, and my grandfather. They usually, like, we usually always go together, and I mean, it just happened because I was in college, I couldn't go. And my brother, he was maybe 18, 19 years old back then. He he was young, old enough to be able to hunt by himself, but still young that my dad would worry about him.
Yeah.
So he dropped him off in a road where he had seen signs the previous day, and there was this guy that was I don't know what it's called. I don't know what he had. He had a bag on his side there. He wasn't he couldn't pee. He had to pee in a bag.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that guy got lost in the woods in that area, and so my brother, of course, like, we'll stop hunting. We'll go try to help them find him. We have to do something. So he's the one that ended up finding the guy. He got there. The guy had done like a little fire, was ready to spend the night out. And my brother found him. He gave him a granola bar he had, and then he helped him out of the woods. And on his way back, he saw a lot of nice deer signs around there. So he told my dad, he said, tomorrow morning, first thing, I want to go in that specific location. So my dad was kind of hesitant to let him go there alone because they wanted to go a little bit further down the road. But he figured, we'll have a walkie-talkie, and he's a man. I mean, he's 18, 19 years old. He's old enough to handle himself, and he has a gun, and he'll be all right. So my father leaves him, and maybe 5 minutes later, he hears on a walkie-talkie. So he knew it was my brother, and he's like, okay, did something wrong happen? Like, what's wrong? So he started backing off, and dad. And then eventually he said, Dad, I got one. So when he got there, he had 14 pointers.
Wow.
And it was a monster. And
Wow.
it's crazy. He was not the cover of a magazine, but he was in a magazine telling the story of how he found the guy. And then the next
Right.
morning, first thing, was able to harvest 14 pointers. I think he ended up having close to 200 pounds of meat on that deer. It was
Wow. That was God. That was God
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah.
you found that guy the day before. Here you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what we keep saying. It's just
Wow.
you-
Wow. That's crazy.
yeah.
It's funny. My mother-in-law is usually the one who always got the deer every year in my husband's family. She was the one who usually got it. So.
Joe and Sue's hog.
Hey, Joe and Sue.
Yeah,
Welcome.
and he keeps bragging about it and laughing at me because I got a fight once and I got a 7 pointers once. And
You'll never hear the end of it, Robbie. He'll tell that forever.
Oh yeah, he will.
Wow,
I was going to start making little trinkets out of antlers. My uncle owned and operated a deer farm for quite a few years, and I said, well, if I get good at this, maybe I get the antlers and stuff from him. And I took a Dremel tool to an antler at the kitchen table, and Wendy kicked me out of the house. It stank.
I bet.
It was horrible. But it was pretty cool to do. But yeah, we're gonna have to get back. I'm gonna start hunting more for food. I haven't hunted big game in 4 years, 5 years, because my hunting party kind of died off. My big brother, my stepfather, and then Trevor and I, we were members of a hunting club up on the top of Tug Hill, and early in the season it was great, but you didn't see many deer, but the deer you saw were huge as far as body wise and stuff. And we just hunted so hard for such little game.
Yeah.
And
you want to know something? I've never had deer, never had venison.
You've never had venison? Oh.
No, because as a child, we weren't exposed to it. My dad would have some things given to him and he would eat them, but it wasn't something my mother ate either growing up. So she didn't really pass it on to us. I had moose meat once, and I'll tell you, my parents were away And my sister and I wanted to make goulash, which is hamburger, tomato soup, and ground beef. So we take the ground beef out and we're cooking it up and we start eating it. And we're like, oh, I think the ground beef was bad in the freezer. Holy cow. I said, I think maybe it's gone bad. So Mom called to check on us and we were telling her what we had and we told her what happened. And Dad goes, what did it look like? And I told him what the package was. He starts laughing. He goes, that was my moose meat so-and-so gave me. And we had thrown it all out because we thought it was bad.
Oh no.
So,
some of the best meat on the planet.
Oh yeah. Not what was in the freezer. We kept that just in case, but what we had made, we had thrown out. And Dad's like, I would have ate that when I got back tomorrow. And I didn't like it. Like I can still remember the taste of it. It was very I don't think I would like it. Now, watching all the cooking shows lately, and they've been cooking venison, I got to admit, for the first time in my life, I think maybe I might like to try it. It looks really good when they're cooking it up and stuff.
It is. But if you're biting into a goulash expecting a hamburger beef flavor and you get wild game, I can see where that could
Oh yeah, we thought. And I've had trout, obviously. Like we did that as kids with my dad and my grandmother too. And I've had actually David, when we were dating, he had gone hunting and they had gotten partridge. And I tried that, and that was really good. That just tasted like chicken, quite frankly.
Yeah.
It,
just stiffer. That's all.
Yeah. So I don't mind that, and I don't know. I personally could probably not go hunting deer. I just it would be hard for me. But it wouldn't be hard for me to go bow hunting and try and get a turkey because I can't stand turkeys.
So she can go up close and personal with a bow for turkey.
Yes.
Joe and Sue.
Every time we go to a petting zoo and there's turkeys walking around, they know it. They know I don't like them, and they come at me. They just won't leave me alone, and they get aggressive, and I don't like them. We actually thought about getting 2 turkey chicks, pullets, whatever you call them. We actually thought about getting a couple this year to raise, and we were going to name it Thanksgiving and Christmas, right? Because that's what we were going to do. But David has a little bit of butchering practice from when but it's been a long time since he's done it. So we're nervous about doing that end. So I don't know if we could send it to the butcher where like the people we get our chickens that we eat from and things like that, if they would do it like on a small scale, if you just got a couple, if they would do that, or
but they're easy to butcher though. Turkeys are very easy to butcher.
David even said, he says, we could do it. He said, Aiden and I said, you and Aiden would have to do it because I don't know. I might be a little too squeamish.
Joe and Sue, chaga is everywhere up there. I need to know. My wife said that she was in contact with a guy that was going to come up and show us how to harvest and process the chaga, how to use it and stuff, because it's supposed to be really, really good for you. Chaga is it's a black mushroom, I guess you'd call it. It doesn't look like a mushroom. It's a black growth on birch trees. And we've got one out here. I just don't want to take it and waste it, but it's
that
really
must be what we have.
Good for you.
I was wondering what that was. We've got this big black thing on one of our birch trees.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I really want to learn how to harvest that. I look forward. They were talking. They're looking forward to foraging and stuff. They got wild asparagus, wild fruit trees. I can't wait. We have heel all and oh my goodness, now my mind's going blank. Wild lettuce, and this year our oh my goodness, it looks like cowboy toilet paper. Oh my goodness, what mullein? Sorry, there it goes. But we've got mullein, we've got all sorts of stuff that grows. Just when we cleared the homestead and started going along, we went chemical free. Weeds are green, and I want my yard to be green.
Yep.
Cowboy toilet paper is what they call I want to say lamb's ear or something similar to
Yeah,
lamb's
I think
ear.
you're right. Yeah.
But mullein looks very similar to it also, but it's got some serious medicinal qualities to it. And once we cleared the woods out of the way, and we didn't do any, I think my son-in-law gave me some nitrogen beads, and I think I spread them on the lawn once, but that's the only chemical type stuff to ever hit the lawn.
I
And
think the former owners here, because they had beautiful lawn, like beautiful, and like my husband said, the only way you get that kind of lawn is with chemicals, right? So it's taken us. We've been here. This is our 8th summer here, and I'd rather have like most of my vegetable gardens, like the majority of them, are in the front because I'd rather grow food than a nice lawn.
yeah,
You know,
Definitely.
and I don't believe in all those pesticides either because what is it? Roundup. Roundup is one of the chemicals they're looking into to think that might be one of the causes of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. It's illegal here in Canada now. You can't get it.
what is that?
Roundup.
Roundup. Yeah,
They're linking it to specifically non-Hodgkin's is one of the things they're linking it to. But and he must have just sprayed constantly. And the last 4 years, the amount of dandelions we've had come back here. Like the first 4 years, we'd have a few. Oh my gosh, last summer, I'm actually going to try dandelion jelly this year. I waited too long last year because I wanted the bees to have the dandelions. And by the time I went out there was none left. But apparently it's very similar to honey. It almost has a honey taste. I can't wait to try it.
Honey, lemony, a little bit there.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
And I love lemon and honey tea, right? So I'm really
I love the jelly on crackers or those little little crackers, Ritz crackers, stuff like that. There.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and the bees. Can we have enough? I think if I can make at least one thing of jelly and leave the rest for the bees. But I think he did. He must have sprayed.
I want to try also spruce tips jelly. It's pretty good too.
I've had something spruce tip. Didn't care for it. It wasn't jelly, but it was it tea? I can't remember now, but it definitely.
Yeah, it had
very,
a strong taste.
Yeah, very sprucey. Like you could, there's no denying what it was.
And the thing about dandelion, every part of the plant is good.
Yep.
You can eat the leaves.
Yep. Throw it in
just
my
like
smoothies.
A regular salad like spinach.
Yep.
It's basically wild spinach.
Yep. And it detoxes. It will detox things out of you. Yeah.
You can use the roots. You can use the flower.
They sell it at our Walmart here. And when they start coming up, you can go in the produce section and they have dandelion greens for sale in Walmart. Wow. I couldn't believe it when I saw it.
There was a and not to be racist, but there was an Oriental gentleman going around Rome digging up dandelion greens. I was pumping gas. He was doing right on the lawn between the gas station and the road. And I said, "What you getting there?" And he said, "Dandelion." And I said, "Cool." Because it is good. It is if you get the young leaves and put them in salads and everything else. Juniper berries you can make bread with juniper berries.
Cool. I have a question for Susan in the chat. Do you have any videos on foraging? Because I'm going to need to do a lot of foraging this year, and I'm still kind of new to it.
I'm nervous to do it, right? Because I don't want to
poison yourself.
Yeah. I mean, because
I'm not.
I have a book, but it's like, is that really?
Yeah.
Like I'm just so nervous. Like I don't want to make.
And it seems that every book will show you, okay, this is good, but be careful because these 5 other ones look just alike.
Yeah.
They have tiny little difference, and it could kill you right on the spot. So you're like, okay, I'm not gonna try.
Yeah.
It's like elderberry and water hemlock. Water hemlock is a painful death, from what I understand.
Oh, jeez.
But they look like elderberry trees. I've got the several apps on my phone, but they just give you a general idea of, okay, this could be this, but I'm gonna have to I'm just gonna have to step out there and start trying some of this stuff. Worst comes to worst, I see Wendy again,
Well, go with the ones that you feel safe about. Like cattails, there's nothing that looks alike. You just have to
Right.
make sure that it's next to a stream and not in a
Well, we
dead
have
pond,
tons of them if anybody wants any.
But I've heard it's a delicacy in some countries. I guess it's pretty good.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of different ways you can cook them.
That's what they say. I don't know if I'm going to try it.
I've heard about clover as well, where you can take the actual flour and dip it in meringue. Is it meringue, or how do you call it? You take the white of an egg and you beat it until
meringue. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Meringue. Yep.
So you dip it in there, and then you just dip it in. Is it
sugar?
Yeah, icing sugar, or was that with the mint leaves? I've seen a guy do a couple of recipes. I'm not sure which one he took, but he fries that in the pan and with a little olive oil, and I guess it's delicious.
Yep.
So I'm gonna try that for sure in the spring, or maybe more in summer when they come up.
I think other than vegetables, herbs are like one of my favorite things to grow. I've made my herb garden bigger every year, and it's going to get a little. I think this year we're going to make it to the biggest it's going to be. Like this will be it. I just they smell good. You can do so many things with them. The chickens love them too. Like they're good for the chickens. And I have a friend in New Brunswick, actually, Deer Island, New Brunswick. Remy, I don't know if you know where that is, Deer Island. Yep. My grandmother is originally from Deer Island.
Cool.
And they go mushroom foraging, and she's just counting down the days till all the snow's gone. And I mean, they're crazy they got the big, huge puffballs last year, the big puffballs that everybody's like paying like $300 for or whatever. Mm-hmm. They got them. I personally don't like mushrooms. I've tried. I just don't care for them.
We've got one that they call chicken of the woods here, and I see it.
That's her favorite.
I'm 99% sure that's what it is. My neighbor has shown it to me. I just need him to confirm it. Me and you, Acres, Angie. It's funny that my neighbors made a video about pine bark, even roasted it. I was telling somebody the other day how Adirondack is literally directly translated bark eaters, because people said the Indians said in this area in the Adirondack Mountains, that was all there was to eat in the winter. Was bark. So it was a derogatory term. Morel mushrooms. Oh, I wish I could get some good mushrooms that I trusted. Wendy and we've got a magazine or a catalog for mushrooms where you can buy and implant your own logs and areas with the mushrooms. And then once the mycelium take over, then they start sprouting the mushrooms. But I had a
bite of shiitake mushroom. My dad said, just try this. And I will say he was right. It did taste like meat.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I can't believe this isn't steak. Like it did taste. So I see why vegetarians will say, you can use the portobellos as a meat alternative, because it definitely did taste meaty. It's the texture a lot with me.
Right.
I'm not a big.
I have the same issue with mushrooms.
Yeah. I wish I liked them, because I have so many friends who are like that I watch on Facebook. Like, oh, they're so good. I'm like, they're just really not. Yeah, I made calendula oil too, Angie. I did that, and I actually made beef tallow body butter today for the first time. So I curious to try it over the next couple of days and see. I used some today, and I got to say, it's even with 100 million hand washings, I can tell it's still on there. So I can't eat anything rubber.
So, Lynn, I have a little positivity for you. My girlfriend texted me a little bit earlier asking me what your channel name was because she said that she likes the way you speak. She likes you seem interesting. She was interested in what you were saying, basically. So she asked me your channel name, and I gave it to her, and she said she subscribed. So you made a new subscriber.
Oh, thank you. That makes 550 then today.
Nice.
I'm shocked because like when I started my channel, I thought maybe I'll get 100 people between family and a few things like that. And I talked a little bit today on a video I did why I kind of started, because I have a passion for it, right? And my husband says, you have such a and my cousin said, you have such a passion for this. You should do a channel too, and and just share your passion. And I actually had a little bit of a job opportunity, kind of sort of last week. And I really thought about it, but I literally had 7 panic attacks in one day afterwards.
Oh.
My husband said, that should be telling you everything right there about this.
Yeah.
This is not for you if you're having this kind of panic attacks. Part of it, I was seeing the dollar signs in my eyes, right? I'm going to admit, for a little bit there, it was kind of, but I said to my husband, I said, doing this channel, we may not be making any money at it yet, maybe someday, but it gives me joy. And he said, that's all he cares about. I'm so lucky I have someone who's supportive. He said, if that's, and for the first time, it does, it gives me joy. I really do. And, and it's nice to find a community that doesn't think you're crazy.
Well, on here, we're a nice community, actually.
Yep.
And growing your own food is pretty much similar to having a full-time job in terms of what you bring in. It's not only the work that you do, but you bring so much food in that it equals a full salary, basically.
Yeah.
And doing YouTube is like a full-time job. I'm not kidding.
Oh man.
Like, between the editing and doing video, and basically I'm trying to make a video a day. So I always have some, because my goal is to try to get every 2 or 3 days. Now my internet stinks, so that makes it harder to get the videos up like I would like. But yeah, it's definitely like it is a full-time job. I mean, you can spend 8-9 hours a day, at least I can, editing videos, if I let them get too far ahead. But yeah, no, just, and I love it when I get a video saying, I've been wanting to try this forever, but I've been scared to, and seeing you try it, even though you were scared to, has given me the courage to try it. I love that. Like that just,
Yeah, I had a friend ask me the other day, who was running the camera for you? I'm like, nobody, me. He's like, so you walked all the way, because it was a plowing video he was watching. And he said, so you walked all the way down the driveway, set the camera up, walked all the way back to the truck, then drove the truck down, then got out, moved I said, yeah, it adds like three times the time and effort.
Yep.
But it's addicting. When I started YouTube, I'm like, nobody's going to watch. I'm making this for my grandkids to watch after I kick off, and they can say, wow, Papa was a goof. And then next thing you know, I've got 360 some subscribers. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Because my life isn't that exciting. I could probably have more if I was more mechanically inclined, because my generator type videos really work great. They get a lot of views. And the thing is, yeah, I just do a video a week and find a way of procrastinating the editing. Yeah. Yeah. That, yeah, I've got plenty of footage. I just need to put it together. The editing takes forever, and I've learned most of the shortcuts in my editing program. So it doesn't take as long as it used to, but a 20-minute video can take you 3 or 4 or 5 hours, depending on how much effort you want to put into it.
Well, eventually with experience, you'll get to the point where you might not need as much editing. I mean,
That's
of
what I'm
course, you're always
hoping.
going to be editing, but
Yeah.
there's a couple of videos I made. Um, I might have done maybe like 4 or 5 second cuts here and there, but
Mhm.
that's pretty much it. If you know how to turn a camera, how to put your arm, press start, and be
Yeah.
ready right away, you just basically need to cut like the empty spaces here and there. And sometimes I do a video, and if I spend 5 minutes on editing, that's a lot. But it's not always the case. I mean, sometimes if
I
you want
try
to do
not to make
something
them.
bigger,
Yeah, I edit because I don't know how long is too long. Like I
Mhm.
know certain homesteaders that I watch and other YouTubers that I watch, I don't mind if their videos are 45, 50 minutes, right? But then there's other times where I'm glad they're only doing like a 15, 20-minute video on that, right? So I think it depends on what they're, and I'm just like, gosh, this one's so long. I got to cut some more out of this. So, because it also takes forever to upload a longer
I
video.
I edit my video and my audio. I get that synced up because I use another cell phone with a lapel mic a lot of times, especially if it's windy. But I'll cut out what I think shouldn't be there, and then I'll go back and I'll watch the whole thing. And if there are any parts where I'm ready to click off,
Yeah.
then
Yep.
I start eliminating, and I start reducing it.
Yep. That's what I do too.
Because
Yeah.
I'm my biggest fan, and if I get bored,
Yeah. I thank God I had my teenage son to help me when I started because he's the one who told me, okay, mom, this is the video editing we're going to get you. You should get. This is how we do this. Like he showed me a lot. Like the first month or two, I paid him. He was my editor, and
nice.
he helped and stuff and helped me do a lot. And thank goodness. So I'm getting better. I'm getting better.
and I find personally like there's so many people I try to follow. I mean, I try to watch all of you. Well, I watch all of you guys. I don't just try. I do. And there's so many other people that I try to follow as much as I can. But like Camp Aiden Family Compound just said, um, 8 minutes is sometimes the most I can give to someone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if it's too long, I mean, I can only watch 3, 4 videos a day. The list of videos I need to watch gets longer, and I
Yeah.
just get back.
Yeah.
And at some point, I'll just be like, okay, I still want to support them, but I can't actually be sitting here all day. So I'll put play and go do something else. And unfortunately, I'll miss some information. So I try to watch the videos that are short first, and then when I go to
Yeah.
bed, I'll put one on, and eventually either fall asleep on it, and not because it's bad, just because
You're
when I'm
tired.
interested in something, I fall asleep, or finish it the next morning. But you try to fit everything you can, but sometimes the shorter your videos are, the more chances people
Yeah.
will stop and watch it.
I've started listening to videos more.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
I'll set it up out in the kitchen while I'm making my bread and stuff and look over occasionally and see what they're doing. But I'm listening more than but at least they're still getting the credit for it, right? Because it's
And
still
Yeah.
and
funny.
the playlists
So
help out a lot. I'll put on somebody's playlist, and I'll be doing dishes, listening,
yeah.
and then if they say something interesting, I'll leave the sink, come over, rewind, and if they say something that, man, I want to see that, or I wonder if they show that. And now that I've got this screen over here, I can turn that so I can look right from the sink and
Yeah.
see it.
Mhm.
Let's see what she says.
Yeah. Mary Lynn, where did I click on it? Mary Lynn, that's okay. That's okay. I will sit down. I can't put it on a playlist and walk away because I don't speak French. But well, I could. Does YouTube know whether I speak French or not? but I get so much out of your videos that it's like, okay, I want to sit down. I watch yours when I'm say, okay, I want to sit down and watch some videos. That's when I watch yours
Yeah.
because I got to read the subtitles.
Subtitles. And
But
sometimes you don't even need to hear anything. You just need to see what's going on.
Yes.
yeah,
Yep. That's okay. That's okay, Lynn. I don't mind watching.
And yeah, shorts are weird because just like you, I get a video where I'm just showing the dog opening a Christmas gift with about 10,000 views. And then I do another short where I'm thinking, this one might take off. And then 40 views. I'm like, what?
I can't do shorts. I can't. I know. I looked up how to make them, and I don't have that part on my YouTube Studio. There's nothing that you're supposed to be able to click to make one or something. Because I was gonna. I'd like to do a couple too, but
Do you
it
have a
won't
cell
let
phone?
me. I
Do you
tried on the
film-
cell phone and I tried on the laptop, and I'm like,
It-
how
it-
do I make a short?
Shorts are not. They're not in the studio. They're in the. You go to regular YouTube on
Yeah.
your cell phone, and there will be that plus button, and you push that
I don't know if you
plus
could
button,
see.
and it should give you the option.
I'm gonna go look right now. So
If you, I don't know. I don't think you can see. No, won't be able to see.
And
I'm on
yeah,
regular YouTube. And do you go to your channel?
no, just regular your YouTube app.
Regular
It should
YouTube,
have
yeah.
a plus on it.
If you have YouTube on your cell phone, you just open YouTube straight up. And you look down here, right in the middle here.
Oh, yep.
There's like a plus. If you click there,
I see it.
you
Boom,
can
there it
create-
is. Okay. Thank you.
I'm alone now.
But yeah, I brought you up so you could.
Yeah,
she
no,
could
I
see
I don't
it.
think you can see
I
anyway.
never hit that plus, to tell you the truth. I just thought it was the way they divided all the.
No, but
And
the
then-
thing is, with that shortcut, you can only do up to 15 seconds.
No,
Okay.
you can do 60 on it. You push that where it says 15 seconds. You push that, and it'll go to 60.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I just saw it.
Oh, you're right. I just learned something new.
Okay.
And so 60 seconds, but sometimes that's all you need.
Oh yeah.
For,
Oh yeah. I've
you
been
know.
using it to advertise my books. I did a short the other day
And you don't
on
edit them. That's
my
good.
kids' book there. Colin Goes Camping. I did a short. Oh, only 15 seconds of music, even with a.
Yeah. What you can
Okay.
do though, you can still film your short as long as you keep your phone straight up. If you do the editing on your phone, I think you can still do a short video, but you have to stay your phone up like this. And then when you upload it, you don't need to select upload short. You can just upload the video straightforward from your phone.
Okay.
And if you put the hashtag shorts in your title or in your description, I think it works. That's
Okay.
what I've done the last short video I've done, and it worked.
Yeah, I seen the one with all your snow.
Yeah. I still have about 35 inches coming this weekend. That's crazy.
They're saying we might. I don't know if they changed it, but because we're in the. My husband likes to call it. We're in the. What does he call it? The hole. Here's Trenton, and everything kind of like goes over us. Like sometimes. So we usually. But so they were tracking a big nor'easter. They said and they weren't 100% sure if it was going to hit us or not. Oh, they're calling for 93% chance of snow tomorrow. So it looks like it might be. Yay. Oh, yeah. Special weather statement just came up on my phone. Yay. Oh, 5 to 12 centimeters. Yay.
Yeah.
Look, I'm sorry, Angie. My son, they start March break here tomorrow in Ontario. And he's going to think because we pay him to shovel. So it's cost us a lot this winter.
Yeah, we have a winter storm watch from Friday evening to late Saturday night. Total snow accumulation 7 to 12 inches.
Oh, fake spring. We had fake spring a couple of days ago. I knew it.
It'll be back. It's got to be.
It says 50 centimeters is possible across the whole place, the whole province.
Oh.
And then it says
Okay, I won't complain
damaging
about
wind
ours.
gusts near or greater than 100 kilometers per hour. So we're going to get it bad.
The wind is worse too, right? Like I hate the wind. That's the thing that makes
And
me
when the
nervous.
wind
Gives
comes
up
in
the
from the
trees.
east, it's always worse.
Yeah.
Jeez.
We're right in the sweet spot for lake effect snow off Lake Ontario.
Yeah.
And it is when we get lake effect or a nor'easter coming in, that's what we look for. And right now all I've got is my little four-wheeler that I plow with because the front end went out of my truck.
Yeah, we just like a 30-minute drive from us, we call it the county, but they're right on Lake Ontario, and they can be getting dumped with snow in a blizzard, and we'll have sunny here. Like it's amazing how the lake changes it. And of course, growing up in Maine, I totally know nor'easters.
Yeah.
So
well, I can just drive about an hour south from here, and they have maybe half the snow we have.
That's
It's
crazy.
just an hour away.
Wow.
And we seem to get the current from the Baie des Chaleurs here. So for some reason, we have the Restigouche River and the whole bay, and seem to be like a cold current coming right here. For some reason, we always have more snow than anyone else.
Jeez.
I think that's one of the reasons we don't have any deers around. Too much snow and too harsh winters.
Yeah, maybe.
They don't survive.
We had all last summer, we had a deer visiting the backyard, first time in 8 years. And she kept coming, and she'd only come so far. And we took a few pictures. And then a few weeks later, she started coming back with her baby. And it was little. I mean, it couldn't have been very old, and it was coming with her. Like it was so tiny. And I was like, and she came pretty much all summer. And like, she never got any further than our back. Cause I told her, I'm like, you come anywhere near the front, you're not going to be welcome. But I mean, we have it all fenced with deer fencing and everything on my vegetable gardens, because we have a lot of rabbits too. Yeah. So, but yeah, we're having a terrible problem with voles. The chickens killed one in their coop yesterday.
Cool.
So I'm like, yeah, you got one. But I just reading up on it, how they love to eat the bark off of apple trees. And we just planted 4 apple trees last year. Plus we've already got 2 established ones on the property. And none of my carrots last year worked. And like every carrot we would pull out of the ground, they were already ate. And I'm like, what the heck is eating these things? Because they don't have them in Maine. They don't. And like I said, I think the snakes were taking care of them.
Yeah.
So, right, like you mess with one thing, right? Like we messed with my husband did not kill all of them. 98% of them, he just rehomed them because he didn't want to kill, so just some of the bigger ones he finally had to take care of because it kept coming back. But I bought this stuff. It's all natural, but it's stuff you spread around your yard, and it's supposed to keep the snakes away. And I think it worked. And I think maybe that's why we're overrun with the voles last year. So
I mentioned beets there a few seconds ago, and it brought it back to my mind. MB Heritage Homestead.
It's making a challenge.
Yes, a beet challenge. It's going to end in June, but then because a lot of people can't plant until June, they're gonna do another one. Starting in June. I can't wait.
That's what they told me. I said in June. I mean, I'm not even going to be able to plant my seeds yet in June.
Yeah, I don't plant my beets until after the long May weekend here. So
yeah,
that's pretty
I
close.
I can just see Remy out there with a tarp over his garden and a couple big propane heaters out there.
Well, if things go well, I could be planting like root vegetables, maybe like middle of May.
That's
maybe
what I'm hoping.
Beginning of May if I'm very, very lucky. But what we're going to get this weekend is probably going to push spring for another 2 weeks. So
yeah, I was looking for the video I'm doing. I was looking for the Jiffy early planting kits. You did a video on them, and I found a green. Well, I was looking for the links to put in my description. And and I found a greenhouse on Amazon. It's I want to say it's a 10 by 17 with doors on either end and 6 windows on either side. A greenhouse for like $150 or something like that. And I'm thinking of jumping on that.
I've seen them. Yeah. You know what I noticed? I bought I bought 2 more grow lights today too from the hardware store because I'm realizing I just didn't have enough for what I'm doing. And I was lucky they were on sale, so I got them for fairly. But I noticed the ones I bought from Amazon in January, the heat mats and the grow light system, they've all gone up like a lot, not a couple dollars. The grow light system I got is doubled
Yeah.
from what I paid for it in January. So I picked up, our dollar store has the cloth, the black cloth that we lay down to help with the weeds. And we still have quite a bit from last year, but I grabbed another couple today because they're saying things like that. If you see them, you better grab them now because they'll probably sell out. And then when stores start getting them back in, it might not be the dollar stores and stuff and that kind of thing. The hardware cloth. They're saying we should have 3 months. If you've got animals, 3 months worth of feed ready because of the price increases. But I don't have the room really right now for 3 months worth of chicken feed.
Right.
So
I think you're going to see, it's kind of like with the guns when Congress down here started pushing for gun control and then the anti-gun party took over. You had millions of people go out. You got like, millions more gun owners, first-time gun owners. And that's why we've been having a huge shortage of ammunition. You can't find ammunition on the shelves. And you're going to start finding that now that things are getting so expensive, you're going to start finding a lot of new gardeners. Angie, my name's Tracy Hand. I am in upstate New York, not to be confused with the city, please. Yep, Tracy from upstate New York. And I've been watching you guys for a little while, dropping in on some of your live streams at
roundtable discussions.
Roundtable, yeah. He was
that was really good this week.
Yeah, it was.
We're hoping to keep it going too. We're having fun doing it, and people like it, so why not?
And I mean, I can't wait to see the one you guys do at like the convention. I've got that marked on my calendar. Like, I can't believe I'm so excited to go to a convention about homesteading, but I am.
Oh, it's gonna be amazing. And Camp Eden Family Compound, I was able to grow Tiny Tim tomatoes. I just put them in front of my window in the living room a couple of years back with those little upside down baskets where you put all the dirt and the soil and you put your seeds, and then as soon as it starts growing, you can just put it upside down and it grows and goes around the little bucket. I was able to grow tiny tomatoes until, well, basically I let the plant die. So as long as you water the plant, you should be able to grow them. And as for lettuce, basil, I know for sure you can grow them inside as well.
Oh, basil, definitely. I grow basil inside in my window.
Yeah. So you should be able to grow them all year round. And I don't understand why my tomatoes were able to grow because, I mean, it's not like I have bees inside. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if I was just lucky or if it's just self-pollinated for some reason with, I don't know.
Windows print screen there. I just sorry, I screen captured this. The Barina LED grow light, 252 watt. That's a little bit high on the electric. for me. What I need, I finally found Christmas lights that are ran by double A's. Um, and because Wendy always wanted Christmas tree. This year I was the first year since we've been here that I put up a Christmas tree for, but I'd like to get something that's just very low wattage, because I've only got on a sunny day, if I run everything normal, like today, when I go to bed, my batteries will be at like 12.2, which is 40 or 30%, somewhere in there.
I looked up real quick on our Amazon, because you have to remember we're in Canada, so everything's going to be more expensive. And those lights he's talking about, for one, it's $150 for us. I didn't pay that for my grow lights. Whether they're, I mean, I know what you get, what you pay for with the grow lights, but this is my first year trying the grow lights other than just the sun. So I, want to see how they do. But yeah, $150 for one. And I needed 6. That could get pretty pricey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was wondering, I mean, instead of a grow light, would a regular LED light do anything?
You can get grow light bulbs too. Walmart sells them, and you can put them in any old lamp and and they work. I use them when we lived in military housing. I swear they don't want people to have windows, and it was always so dark in them, and I couldn't even keep my house plants alive. So I bought just a grow light bulb and put it in our lamp we had in the living room, and it worked great. My spider plant finally started growing, and so even those work.
Okay. Well, that's 6 of the full. Okay, 6 of the full spectrum light bars are the 200. Right now he's using just 2 of them, and it's only 84 watts. That's not so bad.
No. I'm just looking here. Light strips. Yeah, maybe next year. Maybe they'll go down even more.
Yeah.
Just buy a little bit every year, and eventually.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of doing.
That's what I'm doing with my mason jars right now. Every paycheck, I go in and buy 1 pack.
Yep.
It's $20 or a little bit less at Walmart there, but that it's easier in my budget and save a couple.
That's how we built up our pantry. Every time we went shopping, we would buy a little extra. If we needed rice, we would buy a bag of rice, and then once we got enough to fill a 5-gallon bucket, we would actually get the Mylar bags with the oxygen absorbers and do that. I just brought some up from the house. I don't know what I'm going to do with a 5-gallon bucket full of rolled oats from 2013, but then I've got sea salt in a Mylar bag in a 5-gallon bucket, 5 gallons of sea salt, because I wanted to be able to, if something happens and I can't use the freezer that I've got at my brother's house or whatever, I want to be able to preserve my pig meat. So I bought a whole bunch of the sea salt. Am I the only one who hates the pink light? I know
I do too.
Yeah.
And like I said, you can see them in our main window when people drive by. I'm like, people are going to think I am growing marijuana with these grow lights in my window. I know it's legal here and everything, but I also don't want anyone, thinking, oh, we can break in their house. They're growing marijuana. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want that either. Thank God we're out in the country for the most part. Most people going by. But Remy, for mason jars, have you tried thrift stores? Because I've been picking up there, and I can get a dozen at a thrift store right now for about $12. And to buy 12 at Walmart, the same size jars. Today I priced them. They were $18. I cannot get over the price has gone up.
What
The
size?
lids, those were for the pints, what we call pints here.
Okay, I think they're
500 milliliters, 500 milliliter ones.
I paid. I
So-
think it's either $13.97 or $11.97 for.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. Sorry, that wasn't for the 99-cent jars. Those were for the 1 liters that I've been getting at our thrift
Yeah,
store.
those are like $20.
Those
I
are
bought
really-
one
yeah.
of those.
But I can't
But
get
they're
over the lids. I've been buying my regular size jar lids at our dollar store. They've got a box of 12 for $2.50 right now. Every time we go in there, I grab 2 of them. So I get a nice stockpile going. But the wide mouth mason jar lids, the cheapest we found them was at Walmart today. They were $5.60.
Wow.
I don't remember lids ever being that expensive.
We went to an Amish store and I think it was 12 dozen. It's a big long tube of regulars, and then we ended up getting a big long tube of the wide mouths. It was
I like those
quite
ones.
expensive. It was $50-$60, but it was a lot of. I don't think I'll go through because I save my lids, so if I do have to reuse them, and I do a lot of vacuum sealing with the hand pump for my herbs and stuff. And I use a brake bleeder vacuum pump.
Okay, yep.
And then I've got it hooked into the food saver lid that goes on top.
Yep.
And you just pump it until it's at the vacuum seal you want it, and then you pull it off and it's vacuum sealed. But so I reuse them for that. And then if they're really good, I might, if I had to, soak them and reuse them.
Tracy, where you're in the States, there's a great company. It's American. They started a company a little over 2 years ago. It's a family who has a farm in Homestead and did a lot of canning, and they were having a hard time finding lids 2 years ago. It's called 4 Jars, FORJARS. And their prices are amazing, but the shipping to Canada is what's keeping me from buying them. They've got amazing prices. And if you watch some of the homesteaders I watch in the States and some of the canners, they've been sending them to them for free to try them. And they cannot say enough about them. They said they've had 100% success rate with the sealing. That you can feel the difference. They all say how they just feel different. And they're just a family that started it up. And he was on one of the lives I was on another person's watching. He is looking for a Canadian distributor. He said he's got his feelers out, talking to a couple companies to see about starting to sell them in Canada, because he said he does realize the shipping to Canada is like, I went on and I was going to order 50 lids, a mix of the regular mouth and the large mouth, 25 of each, and it was going to cost me more to ship them than to buy them.
Oh wow.
That's not where it was like $20 to buy them and $36 or $38 to ship them.
Wow.
So I'm like, yeah, that's not gonna work.
Yeah. They're talking about the natural light. I do have a window. You'll see in the video tomorrow if you watch it. I've got one window. We built the house with passive solar in mind, because you open the windows on a sunny day and it will warm this house up quick. But I've got one window that I use for planting, but I'm really thinking about getting that greenhouse from Amazon. Now watch it. They won't have it anymore because everybody will go out and buy it. But it was like, it's a 10 by 17. It's got to be a cheap tarp or a cheap cover for it or whatever. And then I can set it up. It'll collect the heat and melt the snow under it. Then I'll be able to finish setting it up, and then just figuring out the right time to take my plants out there and plant them. But I go ahead.
Can't patent. It's 4 Jars, FORJARS, and they're American, 100% made in American. in a family that saw the need, because they couldn't find lids themselves, he said, right, during the pandemic, the start of it. And I don't know if that's my internet. I wonder if my son's gaming again.
Well, we can
Yeah.
hear you.
We hear you, and you just seem to freeze a couple of times here and there.
There we go. Nope.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where you try to get everything you can as quickly as you can before things go bad. And then the thing is things are not going to get better. Gas is not going to get cheaper. Mason jars, they finally caught up. Runnings is full. They've got like 3 aisles of canning jars.
Our Walmart does too.
Yeah, Walmart's got canning. They finally caught up with that. Hi, Jen.
But the prices have gone up. I just can't get over it. They're like $10 more a case now than they were a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Like they've really jumped in price.
Yeah.
I mean, I hated giving mine away before. I really hate giving away stuff now. If I know I'm not going to get that jar back, I'm like, I'm not giving you any of my jam because I know you won't give me the jar back.
That's kind of a unspoken thing, I think, or if it's not, it should be that, okay, if I give you a canning jar, you'll return it. And if
I'll give you more jam, like you bring the jars back, I'll give you more, kind of thing. So because that's how my aunt does. She gives out. I'm surprising my mom in Florida next month. She's turning 70. So just myself, I'm flying down for 4 days to surprise her. My dad's throwing her a party. She doesn't know I'm coming, and she doesn't know one of my nieces and nephews coming. Maybe I'll go on and order some 4 jars, have them shipped there, just tell my dad to keep an eye on them, because my mother's going to wonder, why are these coming here? And I can just bring them back with me. I might do that, actually. And apparently shipping is like 2 or 3 days, no matter where you are in the States. Everyone was saying how quick they're getting them. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll have some shipped to her.
Hey, Belinda and Chuck.
And I was checking to see what you were talking about with the shipping cost. If I buy 100 lids, it's a little bit less than $30, but it's American, so it's probably going to cost me around $50.
Yep.
But then for $30, for $28.95, the shipping is $42.26.
Yeah.
That's almost $60, $70.
Even with the 10% off, that little, if you're a first time buyer, or then I have a couple codes from the other channels I watch that they've given them. And I'm like, holy cow. I'm like, send me some. I'll videotape trying them. See what I think about them. Because I mean, every channel I've watched that's gotten them, they've all raved about them. Every one of them. Like, there's been nobody who said these are terrible. Like, they said like the compound around them, you can just feel that it's thicker and stuff, and the metal's a little bit thicker. It's not quite as bendy. Like, they said they're really good quality. Like balls used to be, right? Yeah. And they've kind of gone downhill.
Have you tried any of the reusable, the composite,
the tattlers?
Yeah.
Nope, I've never seen them here for sale. And again, shipping is insane, so I've never ordered them. I heard good and bad things about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kat, you are a pain. I feel like I've got a baby. How did they work, Marilyn? I keep trying to add a French accent when I say her name, and it doesn't work.
I gave up trying that. My boyfriend did not like them. Okay, see, yeah.
But yeah, Jennifer Lynn, when I make another batch, I got a quart and a pint, but they're already spoken for of maple syrup. There will be a pint for your dad. I know he likes it in his coffee. Jennifer Lynn is, she runs the youth group at our church. Does a great job. She is the next generation of youth group leaders coming up to take my place because I'm getting old and fat and slow.
That's what I heard. I just read, she said they did not. Yeah, that's what I was hearing. People said it was hard to tell. You know, that's why I always grab mine anyway. Like I pick mine up, and if they stay, then they're sealed. But people said they missed hearing the pop, and you couldn't tell if they, even if you picked them up, they'd still stay, but didn't necessarily mean they were sealed.
Oh,
like as well. Like I heard a lot of, it seemed like a good idea.
Because they use the rubber rings, right? With them. See, we have a lot. Well, not a lot, maybe 20 or 30 of the old jars with the glass lids and you can buy the rubber rings for them.
I have several of them,
but I don't know how to use them. When
I haven't tried. I use mine for storage. I haven't canned in them because I wish my grandmother who used to use them, I wish she was still around because I'd get her to show me how.
Well, guys, I'm gonna have to go. It's getting late.
Yeah, I gotta get going too.
I know
we recorded the new episode of Forged in Fire last night, so we're gonna watch that tonight. Love that show.
I know Darren at Thorhaven Farm is going live also. I'm probably gonna miss it tonight.
Oh, that's yeah. I'm gonna have to miss it tonight too.
Yeah,
gonna spend some time with my hubby.
Yeah, I stayed up way too late last night messing around with that sap. Y'all have a good one.
Going, Angie.
And
have
Jen,
a good weekend, guys.
I just want to let you know, Jen, that's the next batch. Once I get some more syrup, because these two are already taken. I think I'm gonna give my first fruits to Pastor, and then
night, Angie.
My mom will probably take the other quart. Look at the hair you left all over my laptop, guys.
All right. You guys have a good weekend.
All right.
Yeah.
Take care, everyone.
Y'all have a good night, and God bless you. Yeah. All right. Great stream, guys. Thank you so much.
Yes, it was awesome. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.